There was a teacher, Alexander, as you may know, he died in 1955, and there were a number of his students who started training courses. This is a little historical. One of his closest students, a woman named um, Margaret Goldie was her name, and she was not in sync with what was going on in general. She felt that I think I could say describe it as they weren't using thinking as part of the process. I'm going to
Okay,
send you a
so
link to a little bio of her,
okay.
um, and she has this quote that is it's a little bit of a mind bender, and I had to make sure I get it right. But here it is. This is talking about a lesson situation. She's a teacher and somebody's a student. She says, if I tell you not to do something, there is no way that you can do it well.
Hmm.
Now think about that. I tell you not to do something, okay, and you think, okay, I'll do that, but the not doing is not possible. Do you see it's a bit of a
Hmm.
mind twister. Even
Yeah,
Alex
explain it
teachers
again.
have trouble around this one. Um, if I ask you not to do something, or if I ask you not to have a thought, I'm not lifting the weights or something like that, there's no way you can do it well because there's no way, if you're doing anything, it's not well. You see what I
Hmm.
mean? See what she's getting at here?
I mean, it might take me a few more
Yeah, it may.
explanations to
Just
get
think
there.
about it. If I ask you not to do something, okay, not to do anything, even, for example, there's no way you can do that well because you can't, if you're doing it, you're not doing it well.
Huh. Because you're not supposed to do.
Exactly. And that
Did
was
I
when
find
you
it?
said, I was trying to, what was the actual line that you were saying there? What
I'll
was,
have to go back and listen.
but
But
you were saying I was trying to do this thing, which was actually a negative thought, right?
yeah.
That's exactly what she was getting at. And the twistiness of that little phrase, and I'm going to send you some stuff, other quotes of hers. She has a lot of quotes. She's a very smart lady. Um,
Interesting.
and she felt that other teachers were simply ignoring the thinking part of the work and emphasizing the hands-on part, where a teacher would give a student an experience and hopefully they would take that with them to a certain extent. She didn't like that at all. She wanted to engage her students' thinking right from the beginning. And so she would say things that sound really weird, but if you think about the exact wording there,
Okay.
when I first I did a little interview with Imogen, who's, also Imogen's been a teacher for a long time. I've been a teacher. And she said, what does that mean? It took a while for her to understand
Mm-hmm.
the implication of that. Because if you can't do
Mm-hmm.
it right, then just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in the realm of non-doing. And that's all about you have a direction, it's a mental direction. Your prefrontal cortex is talking to your whole body and saying, uh,
Right.
this is what I want. And ideally, the prefrontal cortex then steps aside, doesn't do anything. It just it just lets the rest of the body take care of it.
Yeah,
And
I
and
can.
and it's funny because this problem of people wanting to add a little something, that is something that all the first generation teachers agreed upon. They had different way. That you remember I sent you something a long time ago called not even a teeny weeny bit.
Yes, I remember I looked in my notes before we started and I was like, oh, that's the one thing you told me to go back and look at that and I didn't reread it.
We'll go back after this,
Okay, yes,
and I,
okay, I'll
and
go
then
back right
and
away.
then I'm going to send you I- a little website that it's part of a larger site, but it's about Margaret Goldie uh, and just because the other teachers, everyone noticed this problem that people were trying to do stuff, and she was saying that's the thing you need to deal with at the very beginning before you do anything else or do anything else, right? You want to get that non-doing going. And it sounds sort of crazy. Well, I'm not doing anything to lift a weight or to walk. But that isn't what you're really saying. You're saying this guy's not doing anything because this
Right.
guy is going to mess it up. Anything this guy does to help is going to be problems. You know,
Yeah, I think it definitely took me a few weeks to get the hang of that
it's
I'm not
it's a
doing.
totally different view of
Hmm.
movement and posture and how to improve how the way you move or how you do things.
Hmm.
Almost always the idea is, well, what do I have to do to bring about this improvement?
That's exactly what I
That's not
wanted to do.
saying, oh, anyone who lifts weights is nuts. No, that's saying if lifting weights is going to do something useful, great. Don't do any extra stuff. Of course, you have to engage muscles to lift it. You have to engage muscles to walk. You even have to engage muscles to think and do nothing else. There's no getting around that. But it's the add-on that's the problem. And
Yeah,
I
so
couldn't help but when you said that, I thought, my God, a chance to bring Margaret Goldie into the conversation. Because I love this lady. I never met her,
yeah,
but
she's here again in
she
our
was
lesson
she
today.
was a feisty old lady from what I heard. And
I
and
love that.
I think there's even a book that you can get of her quotes. I don't know. I'll send you the link to her, and I
Okay,
think you'll.
awesome.
So. Well, anything else come up that you want to deal with?
I mean, I think that's it. My daughter got dropped off after dance and I can hear her screaming upstairs. So
Uh-oh.
I have a good feeling that we have a ticking time bomb on this
Okay,
lesson.
no, we don't want that. So, why don't we end the conversation here?
Okay, awesome.